I'm back. Okay, I know. So, first off, I've not really been doing many videos at all. First off, right now there's some things going on, mostly financially, and so I've not been able to really go out and get you any great walk videos. But also, well, this isn't about upcoming events. This is about my weight loss, or the lack thereof. Now, I had told you I wasn't going to be doing a journey vlog any longer because, one, I wasn't getting many views. Two, I was kind of getting burned out on keeping up with it. And, it got to the point that I was just doing the Great Walk videos. And those I'm still doing, but like I said, right now there's kind of a little bit of a financial hold going on that maybe all will work out, and next week I'll be able to get you a new Great Walks video. But as I said, I'm back. Now, I don't know if you can notice or anything, but I have gained, and it is pretty significant. I don't remember what month it was that I had seen 171. It may have been July, might have been August, I'm not sure. Maybe even, no, I don't think it was June. I don't think it was June, but something, Anyway, well, since then, as of this morning, and I hate to even say it, I have gained 20 pounds. And I had been thinking, and I realized you all had helped me more than I knew. Even though there wasn't very many comments a lot of times, and barely any views a lot of times. One of my videos only ended up with 3 views. But despite all that, more or less, I was too embarrassed to tell you as if I screwed up. And because I was being honest with you all, more or less, I was trying to stay straight so that I could honestly tell you I stayed straight. So, it has been that, well, kind of like me going back to my old habits. And I know I had said that a few times before in my videos. And I'm trying so very hard to break those old habits. Rich is basically just sitting around and eating anything and everything in the house. That is carb. Now, I know that in the last couple of videos that I'd given you, I was talking about eating foods that's better for my thyroid. Well, I hadn't really read much more about what's good for the thyroid. But I am sticking with having more proteins and, trying to make sure that I'm eating what's better for the thyroid. But as far as that goes, I had decided that I was going to go right back to the Ray Down. And the Ray Down, for anybody who hasn't heard what it is yet, The Ray Down is a plan through Gwen Shamlin, who is a dietitian nutritionist. And when she was in college, she struggled with starting to gain weight. And here she tried to lose weight through like food exchange, and even like on her nutrition books that she was studying through, she tried the diets that was in the back of the book that was labeled as non-reliable. And she also tried the program that the school had, that you lose so much weight, you get so much points on your grade, and none of that worked. And so she had decided to do a study to see just what it was that the thinner people was doing to stay thin. And so it happened that there was one particular woman that was in the dorm, and she was particularly thin. And so Gwen asked her if she had permission to kind of interview her and take notes, kind of follow her around and see what she does for her eating patterns and everything. And so this college student agreed. Okay, so the first thing that Gwen got to do with this woman was go to McDonald's. And this woman had only ordered a quarter pounder. Gwen Shamlin had a quarter pounder, large fries, a large diet drink, and I think she said she'd even had a large milkshake. So she had demolished all of her food, and she even wanted to eat the one that she was interviewing. She wanted to eat her sandwich as well. So while she's sitting there nursing on her diet soda, as she put it, she asked her, because here's this college student that she got halfway through the sandwich and wrapped it up. And Gwen asked her, aren't you going to eat the rest of it? She said, no. And Gwen asked her, why? And she said she just didn't want it no more. She wasn't hungry anymore. And so she took that in point. And she wanted to ask her, like, if she was sick or something, but she knew that any particular kind of question would kind of make it seem like a put down on the thin person's part. And so she just had simply settled with, what are you thinking as you do that? And it was just plain and simple. The woman wouldn't eat beyond what she wanted. When she was eating her meal, she wouldn't eat beyond what she could handle. If it started tasting bad, or if she was full, or whatever, you know. And so as Gwen continued to take notice of this thin person's eating habits, she noticed that sometimes she would only eat once a day, and sometimes she would eat 3 times a day. And it always varied at what time of the day she would eat even. And it was just simple that she would only eat when she was hungry. And of course, stop when she was completely satisfied with what she had ate. And so Gwen decided, okay, this must have been the main factor of weight loss. But she didn't quite realize how it worked. And so as she continued to study through her textbooks and stuff and watch the behavior of this thin eater, she came to realize that it was simple, because through only eating when hungry, you're allowing your body to settle and you're not overloading it. And there were some other things that she had written about. And so she continued to write an entire book on how to eat thin. And she had also put it, because she's a Christian, and so she had put it as well, that during the time, in between the times of eating, and even when you go through the battle of wanting to eat again, even though you're not hungry, for you to turn it over to God and take advantage of these short fasting spurts to get closer to God. And so she had written that when she would feel the urge to just eat, she would ask him to remove that. Or like when she really didn't need to eat anymore, she had asked him to simply put out distractions to stop her so that she wouldn't want to eat no more. And so a lot of times it would be somebody knocking on the door, or a phone call, or, some odd thing that would distract her. And then when she would come back to finish eating, she'd realize she simply didn't want it no more. And she also talked about what to do when you've already ate and you're not hungry, and you go out with a social group, and what to do and everything and whatnot, So she had put it in all kinds of perspective ways of being in social moments, or when you're feeding your family, or, what to do to keep from eating when you're not hungry. And then she also talks about going through the desert. And she said that going through weight loss is kind of like leaving Egypt and walking through the desert, like the Israelites did for 40 years. And she said basically, because what you're doing is, as you're going through that desert, you're struggling, trying to keep from going back to the old ways of eating. And you're trying to discipline yourself, get to the point where you don't need to eat until you're hungry. And she said, all during that time that you're in that desert, it's really good for you to get closer to God and draw on to Him and know that He's the one that's got you. And once you've got this down, you finally leave the desert. Well, for me, I've left the desert many times, only to turn around and go back into the desert. So it's kind of like I keep going out and back in this wilderness of mine, and I'm getting so tired of it. I want to leave the desert permanently and get to my promised land, So there's many more things that she had talked about, and there's testimonies all through the book as well of people who had been very obese, went with the Ray Down program, and lost significant amount of weight. But it also goes on to give testimony of one that didn't have a weight problem at all, but instead, and this is where the Ray Down it's not just about weight loss and only eating when thin or when hungry, but it's also about drawing onto God. This particular testimony was about a young lady who had a mental disorder of pulling her hair. And she pulled her hair so much that she was bald. And she struggled with that, just the constant hair pulling. And she decided to try the Ray Down, but not for weight loss, but to get control of that. And so she drew closer to God and trusted Him. And through doing that, she stopped pulling her hair and ended up growing a beautiful, beautiful crown of hair. So the Ray Down is a wonderful program. It helps you to draw closer to God. It helps you to realize that God is there for you. And it does help you with situations that you struggle with on your own. So And I told hubby that I was going to go back to the Ray Down, and he said, that's good because you had lost the most weight out of that, and that's true. I had started the Kickin' It series back in I think I had seen it was might have been August of 2018, something like that. And I had gone from 220, which really it was 217, but I was counting from 220. So I went from 217 down to 191 from, it was either August or October, something like that. I would have to look back on my notes again. But from that period in 2018 to February of 2019, I had lost almost 30 pounds, almost. And then in February, I'd started doing the OMAD, and I went from 191 and finally had seen 171. So I had lost another 20 pounds through the OMAD, but through a longer length of time. It took, well, it might have took about the same amount of months, but nonetheless, I'd lost at around 10 pounds more on the way down than I did on OMAD in about the same amount of months. So, and with OMAD is awesome, and there's a lot of people who likes to do that, and I'm not ever going to cut anybody down for any type of weight loss they do. It is between you, your doctor, and God, if you believe in God. If you're healthy and you're being successful, that's all up to you all. But for me personally, OMAD got to be very difficult because I was staying dizzy, and also it made it difficult if I wanted to go out with my husband. And so plus I couldn't keep that fine line of eating just enough for the complete day without overeating. It was really hard for me to find that fine line and stay balanced on that. So but with the Ray Down, where I would only eat when hungry, that really makes it better. I'm not as dizzy, and now if I start feeling dizzy, I know that I'm getting to the point that I'm going to have to eat something. But I do try to wait until I feel the hunger in my stomach, and I do drink water just in case. But what's really happening is, like in the evening, there's a few things, and then I find myself kind of munching, and so that's got to stop. That's when I turn around and eat when I'm not hungry. Now, so far today, I had just got done eating. I had a chicken nacho bowl, and no, I didn't buy it from Taco Bell. I made it myself. So what I done was I boiled chicken tenders in Italian dressing, Worcestershire, and habanero flavored ranch. And I boiled that down, and then I cut it up, and I threw it into a bowl of refried beans that had taco sauce, Fiesta variety cheese, bacon bits, and tortilla chips. And that's what I had. So that was my bowl. And it's very filling and satisfying. It really is. Plus, I've got the fat from the cheese. I'm eating the dairy, which is good for my thyroid. I've got the beans, which is also very good for the thyroid. And I've got my protein because I use 2 chicken breasts. So I've got my protein as well. The chips and the taco sauce is just an added filler. Well, the sauce is to flavor the beans, and the chips is an added filler so that it'll be more sustaining. So that's what I've had. It is after 1 o'clock, going on 2 o'clock, if not so. Yeah, in a half hour, 2 o'clock. So I actually, it was around noon when I ate. So, yeah, I found it so much easier to, I mean, it's a nuisance in a way to find the time to make these videos and to be accountable to you all. But at the same time, it really does help me because, like I said, I am trying to not screw myself up so I don't embarrass myself in front of you all. And I think that's another thing that had actually caused me to stop doing the videos, because I was so embarrassed, or I was starting to gain the weight again. And I just didn't want to tell you that I was screwing up over and over and over again. I went back and watched the first video of my Kicking It series, and I had said that I was going to exercise every day, measure myself every day, show you my body every day, and if I wanted something to eat from a restaurant, I was going to walk and get it. I really did lay myself down on the line, and I was very faithful to that for the first few weeks. But over time I had changed my game so many times on these videos. But on occasion it's good for me to go back and watch the very first one on the Kicking It series, because then I can see how big I was, and I can hear once again the things that I was going to do and know what I would like to start doing again. As far as it goes for the exercise, I'm going to walk when possible. I've tried to pick that up again, but the weather, where it's so windy here and the weather has been cool, the wind cuts through you like a knife, and it is so discouraging to get out there and walk. But on the finer days like today, yeah, I can walk it. Also, I'm not going to cut sweets out, but what I'm going to do, just like I had said on that very first video of the Kicking It series, if I want something bad enough, I'm going to have to go walk and get it. If I'm not going to walk and get it, I don't get it. And also, according to finances, you know. But I am going to make sure that I only get myself a minimal of 1 item. Maybe just the sweet tart straws. I'm not going to turn around and buy myself big packs of cookies and a whole bunch of different variety candies and all that. I'm not going to do that, because that screws me up really bad. Really seriously bad. So, little tweaks here and there so that I'm very satisfied, and therefore I won't be so tempted to slip, slide, and screw up. Anyway, guys, I'm back. You're going to be bored with me every single day, once again, just for the simple fact that I missed yous, I need yous, and I need to do this. The good news, this is the really awesome thing. I'm not back in the 200s. That is the best thing of all. I am not back into the 200s, so at least this time starting over day one again. Brand new, all brand new. My journey to skinny, day one. I'm starting at 191 and whatever the points were, because honestly I wrote down no weigh in, and then after I wrote it in my journal, then I weighed myself. So I did not put the weight down in my journal. I'll do that tomorrow. So anyway, once again, as I said, a whole brand new My Journey to Skinny, day one. And hopefully you all are a witness to me finalizing this weight loss, getting to where I want to be, and me staying there. One inspiration to me is I don't even know the full title now. It's Dave and Mon. Anyway, it's Monica. And she's doing keto, but the thing is, she's such an inspiration, even though I don't open up her videos, really, hardly. It's just me seeing, like now she's over 400 days or something like that, and periodically she will just do a still shot of side by side of when she was extremely obese and how good she's looking present day doing keto. So she's an inspiration as far as that goes. And not that I'm going to be doing keto, but just that she's been persistent. She's being persistent. And that's inspirational. And then, of course, there's taking down fat with C-Dub and Reg Edited, who have done OMAD, have completely reached their goal, and have been in maintenance. They're a great inspiration as well. So, you know, through all these different people who has lost a lot of weight, who's kept up with the weight loss journey, and it's just, it's an inspiration to me to just keep going and not quit, but also take it very seriously and not screw around. Yes, that's what I need to do, is not screw around. So I'm here, I'm back, whole brand new My Journey to Skinny day one. Tomorrow I will be back with you with a day two. And hopefully I will be able to show you footage of what I've ate, or what I'm going to eat, and of me going walking. Hopefully. I'm not sure if I'm going to throw that in there or not, because that takes a whole lot of extra time. But I really do want to be honest with you all. I really do. Because it helps me. So, anyway, I love you guys. You'll be seeing me tomorrow with another journey vlog. You all have a great day.